Hello everyone and welcome to another Starcraft2 video. For this one we're going to do part 2 of this SC2 bot Gauntlet style tournament where we're going to have the bottom bot play the second from the bottom bot and continue along that path until we have a winner. So yeah, Pro Bots is coming up. They're going to be having a showcase with the top 8 bots in this sort of Gauntlet style where, Mixed Breed will play 4-gate bot and 4-gate bot will play Gen Z bot. Or the winner of that match will play Gen Z bot, and the winner of that match will play the Harvester, that sort of idea. But I thought we will introduce you guys to the bot scene by starting at the bottom. We have 67 bots on this ladder. Some more refined than others, some super cheesy, some very basic, some very advanced. And yeah, we're going to get a taste from the bottom up, so it'd be a nice little introduction. So in the first video, we did see Nickbot Zerg beat both Newbie and Empty Seat, and now moving on to face number 64, which is Base Cannon. And we can start off with that match now. So as I load that up, let's just take a look at what's written here for Base Cannon. And he says, I like expanding, I like cannons. Well, that definitely explains the name. It is Base Cannon. I was really hoping for cannons in your base. Let's see a good cannon rusher. Which I believe when the whole SC2 botting scene first began, one of the very first bots was a cannon rush bot. Cheesy bots are the easiest to code. And what's the first thing you think of in StarCraft when you think of cheese? All right, so let's get right into it. We are on Golden Wall, and we have the 2-0 Nickbot Zerg looking to go make it 3-0, keep his hopes alive. And this probably has to go about 70-0 to win the whole thing, but we'll see. And he's Red Zerg taking on the left, we have a blue Protoss. It is Base Cannon. So Base Cannon I am not too familiar with. I think I've seen one of its matches. And I think in that match, someone crashed. So I don't know what to make of what's going to happen in this game. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But living up to its name, we have a Forge first, followed by a gas for some reason. Don't know what that's about. And leaving the worker on the gas. Maybe he started by coding a Terran bot, thinking that you gotta leave the worker there. Although he took the Forge worker back to the minerals, so don't know. Kind of blocked off this mineral patch. Gotta be careful of building stuff in your mineral line unless you're Zerg. Zerg can safely put spines and spores in the mineral line as they don't actually wall things off. They have like curved corners, so you can always find your way around them. Even if you put 2 spores right next to each other, you can still fit in between them, at least with small units like workers. So gateway to follow. Immediately putting 3 in gas. What can you spend gas on this early? Sentries. I guess is the only thing off of gateway tech. But yeah, typically you don't see the gas being taken until the cyber core, because normally you don't have anything to spend gas on until your cyber core completes. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we do have a Roach Warren going down and an Evo Chamber out of Nickbot Zerg. We've seen this build twice before. It looks quite similar to the first two. Pool first into an expansion. I expect to see about 2 to 3 Roaches and about 200 Zerglings as he slowly drones up and takes his 3rd and 4th. Pardon my cold. Probably not the best time to be casting games, but we'll try to do our best. We have a lot of games to get through before the official Gauntlet tournament starts, the Probot Showcase. And we have around 60 games to do, so I'd like to get those casted and up on the channel beforehand. get that production tab up there. Yeah, gas intake has begun now for Nickbot. Meanwhile, we have an expansion out of base cannon. Very interesting, and I wonder what he's going for here. I kind of like to do this too sometimes. You'll find sometimes I like have my 1-1 mech upgrades done before I've made a single mech unit. But we don't have a single unit out of base cannon. But we do have +1 attack, and we have a Twilight Council. So he's gearing up for something. Not living up to his name, though. He's got the base without the cannon. This is extremely risky, but if we learn anything from Nickbot, he will not get punished by it. Nickbot is more of a let me hit 200 supply before I attack sort of bot, which does very much simplify the decision making on when to attack and when not to. Because at least you know if you max out and you attack, like how bad could the attack possibly go? Where if you just like make units and constantly send them across the map, which some beginner bots do, that can go extremely poorly. They just end up like trickling to their death into something simple as a cannon. All right, so another 2 pylons and a nexus over this base. I believe the pylons were for cannons, however, I wonder if there's a bug where base cannon is unable to do half of its own name. No cannons in its main either. There was a high Terran Protoss player who used to play like this. He would build like... He would go forge first and build like no gateway units. He would immediately like put his first pylon here with a couple cannons so he could take his natural immediately. And then quickly take a third, and you'd have like some random cannons maybe out here or over here, and then you start taking ninja bases. And then he'd kind of rush Void Rays, get them out as needed, and it was really hard to break him because you'd have so many, like you'd have like cannons out here, and if you just broke them with siege tanks, then you'd have to get cannons here, and you broke them with siege tanks, and then by the time you finally get to his natural, he's overrunning you with mass Void Ray. And he was high diamond, low masters, playing a strategy that I don't think I've ever seen any other player play, which I can definitely respect. Getting those juicy gold minerals on Golden Wall here. Very yummy. Some bots have a lot of issues with Golden Wall. They might try to expand to, say, the closest base. That's like a nice generic method to pick which base to expand to, and they might choose this base, and then they're stuck because they can't get there. So Golden Wall has created many a headache for many bot authors. We do have an issue in the botting scene where basically Blizzard stopped updating the API for us once DeepMind stopped caring about AlphaStar. So all this like brand new map maker that we got with you know, where you can build multi-level maps now, and they added a whole bunch of new features. Yeah, it's not man, my English is just gone today. It's not compatible with the version of this bot API that we're using. So we have to use kind of bots that are or use maps that are about 6 months old, because even the new maps, even if they don't use any of the new features, aren't compatible with us. With that said, currently I believe Scarlet is actually working on trying to fix the compatibility. The problem is we can't even load up like new maps in the map editor and save them to the older version. So when we need to fix them ourselves, we got to edit the maps without using a map editor. Oh no, we blocked this mineral patch. Oh, these poor probes are going to be fighting to get out there all the time. So base underscore has now become base underscore cannon, as he's now added the cannons to these bases. Nice little expansion for us. Solidly protected bases. Oh my goodness. Yeah, even if he was facing like a battle cruiser jumping bot right now, he'd probably be in good shape with that many cannons. Although there is a pylon of the Artosis Persuasion here, powering 8 cannons, I believe. Maybe 7. Maybe this guy is attached to that pylon. It's hard to tell. But at least the pylon's in the center. It's not an easy to snipe pylon. Meanwhile, Nickbot is going up to his 4th base here. Now these cannons aren't like they're spread out. He left space between them so he wouldn't accidentally wall in his own probes, but that also means they can be easily surrounded by Zerglings. So we do see that Nickbot does get up to Hive. What I never actually checked in the previous games is, does he get adrenal glands? Because if you get those cracklings, they can make really short work of these cannons. You wouldn't think that Zerglings are good against cannons, but if you just flood in and there's no... Because when you watch professional Starcraft2, you're used to seeing like cannons behind gateways, behind walls, tucked into corners. When they're out in the open like this, they're just as good versus air units, maybe even better. Oh man, he trapped 3 of his own workers. This patch will go down soon. This one's down to 179. Once he does that, he'll be able to access this one. But these guys are trapped until one of these two go down, and that's not going to happen anytime soon. This one's definitely not going to go down because no one can mine from it. So they're going to have to wait until 1,300 minerals goes away from there. This may come down to which bot is smart enough to figure out how to mine the bottom bases. And if I had to guess, I would think it's only going to happen when the gold gets mined out. So this game could come down to who mines out their gold patches first. It looks like Nickbot's got a patch around 370 minerals. Meanwhile, we do have Lings flooding in. They're going after the workers, actually. Another thing only a bot can do. Individually target workers when you're in that sort of attack. And then he's just leaving. I don't care about your cannons. I'm out of here. On to the next base. Yeah, so these Lings are definitely on worker duty. Yeah, I don't know about that decision. I think often that works out really well for you. If you're attacking like an orbital, you just kill all the SCVs. That'd be great. But here, I think you could have flooded and just wiped out this entire base. However, with all those Lings down, it does free up supply to switch into other tech. But we saw this from the last game. His tech of choice is Mutalisks, which is going to be terrible versus all these cannons. He is getting 3 Broodlords though, which is basically infinite damage as long as they don't are microed correctly. The hole was open up here though. The Mutas solved the problem of those probes being stuck, and with the hole being open, he's now able to expand to these bottom bases. So the attack not going well for Nickbot here. He's just kind of funneling through. This is why I said the trickle of units. He needs like a regroup. The army's dead. Wait until you hit max supply again before you attack. With that said, the trickle of Broodlord should be fine. As long as they're not on move command here. Oh boy. Nope. Nope. That's not how you micro Broodlords. They are firing, at least. But they'll get devastated by those cannons. So, how does base cannon win? I see why I got the Twilight Council, so you could get higher upgrades on the shields. Going up to 3 shields actually gives you +3. That affects structures as well. He was getting +1 attack earlier. Maybe he thought that affected cannons attack damage. It doesn't. This doesn't go up if you get ground attack. But the shields definitely works. So the question I cut myself off on is, yeah, how does base cannon win? He's got to have code to make units, otherwise this game will just, you know, win by boring the opponent to death. We'll see though. Maybe when there's nowhere else to expand to, he'll start building his army. At the moment though, his production is a single gateway without warp gates. Interesting. Nickbot Zerg has mined out through his little gap in the bottom here. This base should be his for the taking. This one's kind of up for grabs. Base cannon might get there first. I'm not sure if Nickbot actually will expand to the bottom or not. He might have decided earlier in the game that they are an unreachable base, so he's not even going to try. Not realizing that that path has opened. Maybe his bot had issues with Golden Wall, so he just said, if it's Golden Wall, don't even try to expand to the bottom, and that will solve the issue. Units lost at must be ridiculously in base cannon's favor. Yeah, 24,000 resources down. These Zerglings are highly focused on these workers, and unfortunately that means they are running through the cannons first. And in fact, that might have been what was happening to the Broodlords as well. Maybe they are running towards some random probes that were on the far side, which is why they walked through the cannon force. The Urubuu is a little confused. I'm just gonna get out of here. Wait, I can't actually fly. Oh well. So I'm guessing base cannon is actually not, doesn't have a ton of leftover resources here. I was about to say he probably doesn't have code to expand to the other side of the map, but he's not reaching 400 minerals, and there he finally reached 400 minerals, and he will expand to the other side of the map. So he'll be taking more bases than Nickbot and trading super efficiently, which means in the game of attrition, he'll win by a landslide, as he's losing less resources and mining more resources. So once the map is mined out, he should find himself like 50,000 resources ahead of Nickbot Zerg. But he has to win. And I don't know if we're going to see any win condition out of this bot. What's he building? Another cannon. Let's bring back the production. I mean, he is getting attack upgrades. But I have the feeling that he believes attack upgrades affect cannons, and that's why he's getting them. Nickbot is not expanding along the bottom, but it did find that path to attack through. I gotta say, his ability to find workers and focus fire them down is pretty strong. Not the bots you want to do that against, however. We do have 5 Corruptors. Perhaps that is meant to be 5 Broodlords. And with 5 Broodlords, that can slowly but surely end this game. Nickbot finding this base somewhat early, but again being distracted by the probes. So it looks like he's going to get up to 5 cannons now. And that should be enough to solidify this base. There was a chance he could have taken it down before it got out of control with the cannons. I don't think he'll get to that point. So it looks like the workers are constantly trying to resaturate this base because it keeps losing workers. And in the process of these transferring pros coming over here, it's like sucking, it's like becoming a vacuum to suck all the mutalisks into these cannons. I actually don't even know what these probes are doing. They can't decide which base they want to be at. Like, they're not distance mining. They're just kind of, let me go to this base. Now did I ride? No, I changed my mind. Let me go somewhere else. Yeah, see, they just arrived and now they're leaving again. They don't know where they want to be. But they are accidentally becoming idiot magnets for the Zerg forces. Great Spread is not only covering the majority of the map that's not covered in cannons, but it's also getting quite thick. The worst is when you have like 3 Hellions and you scan to kill creep tumors, and you realize when you scan that just seeing the creep tumors isn't enough because there's so many tumors you can't kill them all. You'd have to scan like 5 times. Is this tumor in range? I don't think so. In vision, detection range for sure, but nice spot for a creep tumor. As close as you can get without dying. That's not a nice spot for a creep tumor. I mean, the workers that have died this game must be insane. 400 workers have fallen. But despite losing 400 workers, still 2.5 times ahead on the units lost tab. So we're going to speed up this game to 4x to see what comes of this. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the Nick bot spaces. He has mined out in his main and his natural. Third base is down to 4 patches. Gold is mined out except for the gas. And the 5th and 6th bases are nice and healthy, and it doesn't look like he has any intention of taking this final base. Like, it could be that he's never reached the 300 minerals required, because he is spending his money quite quickly. But minerals are an issue. He's got gas bank for days. I think his heavy Zergling Roach army is just going to spend through his minerals too quickly, though. So the minerals are going to be the bottleneck. He just lost 4 patches at this top base. And about to do the same over here. The small patches are down to about 200 minerals. Let's click on these cannons. 56 kills, 89 kills, 81 kills, 45 kills. Like, the cannons don't even do splash damage. This isn't like a planetary that can soak up this many kills. 56, 73, 53, 72, 57, 103. How does this one in the back have more kills than all the ones in the front? 72, 48. Oh my goodness. $35, 30, 29. Wow. Wouldn't surprise me if we reach a 200 kill cannon before Nickbot runs out of money. $113 kill to cannon. So, assuming that neither player takes the space, because unless he figures out a way to clear the creep with cannons, I don't think this will become available for Nexus, and I don't think Nickbot has any intention of taking it. Man, this creep is getting so thick. It sounded dirty. And Nickbot has mined out of 2 of his bases, 3 of his bases, 4 of his bases. And he's down to 3 patches there and 4 patches here. So there is a 1 hour limit on the ladder where games will get cancelled. If I bring this up It does not reach the 1 hour. Okay. Spoiler alert. But perhaps this game will have a winner. However, it could just be a natural draw, like using the conditions within Starcraft2 of no structure being destroyed and no unit being produced and no money being mined for, what is it, 3 minutes? Because base cannon is getting quite mined out as well. He actually has no mineral bank, which is strange to me. Because he hasn't lost nearly as many minerals, I wouldn't think. Well, I guess all 32k that he's lost is pure minerals. Because he certainly hasn't lost any gas, because he hasn't mined any gas. So yeah, they probably lost a similar amount of mineral. I guess a lot of that from possibly some dead cannons, but probably most of it from the 634 probes that have gone down. And counting. Looks like Nickbot's slowing down. Sure looks like he has a large army on the map, but it's an army of creep tumors. This poor Urubu is like, I'm running out of spaces to stand that aren't all icky. Yeah, and that is officially the end of the Zerg mineral mining. I think with all these workers being idle, we can almost certainly conclude that he's not going to mine out this base. He's not going to mine out these mineral walls. So Nickbot is done. You might lose some more creep tumors. That does not affect the draw condition. So I think what's going to happen is base cannon is going to finish mining, and once he's done mining, then the draw requirements are met, and there'll be a 3-minute countdown, and this game will end. So cool concept to start a bot off with. Mass expanding with cannons. Unfortunately, there is no win condition attached to this, so yeah, 12,000 minerals now for base cannon. Now that he's not losing 100 workers a minute. A whole lot of corruptors. If they were turned into broodlords and just A-moved, they would have won the game. But unfortunately, we are going to have to call the end to this one. I have checked the results. This is a tie. I have also checked the results of other matches between these two bots, and they also always end in a draw. So we are ending this here. And unfortunately for both Base Cannon and Nickbot Learns, that is the end of their run in this Gauntlet style tournament, and we're going to have 2 brand new bots start off where we left off. So that will be Kai versus another version of Nickbot, Nickbot Learns, which is definitely the machine learning bot. So we'll save that for next video since this one went super long, and we'll see you guys there.